What is up, my spooky mates of YouTube? Marcel from Aussie Horror here, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the 2014 film Creep. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into the video. Creep is one of those movies that's been on my radar since it was released, but I haven't gotten around to watching it till literally just then, and I've got to say it was worth the wait. I was lucky enough to avoid all spoilers, any of the plot details. I've avoided it all, and going in fresh really helped my enjoyment of this movie, and I implore you guys, if you're interested in watching this movie, please try and avoid spoilers, because part of the appeal of Creep is just how twisty it is. Like, it doesn't do what you're going to expect it to do. You're going into it maybe expecting just your typical found footage horror movie, but what you end up getting is this sort of character study between two individuals that don't really know one another. You get a found footage horror movie sort of in it. It's such a unique film, and honestly it's like nothing else I've seen.
I'm realizing that no one knows I'm here.
Hi!
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
The performances in particular by Patrick Bryce as Aaron and Mark Duplass as Joseph are incredible. Mark Duplass in this film, and you've probably seen him in other similar sort of mumblecore films like Safety Not Guaranteed. His sort of personality really suits this movie because he's dialing up those traits that he has that makes him sort of likable, dialing them up so much so that he comes across as weird, and I don't know, you're gonna have to watch the film to really get a good sense of it, because you don't quite know whether or not he's just sort of a little quirky and ultimately likable, or if there's something more sinister going on with him. And Aaron, played by Patrick Bryce, as the cameraman here, his performance is understated as well. Initially, when you're watching this movie, you're watching it and thinking to yourself, well, this guy has clearly gotten himself into an awkward situation here. But then, once you watch their interactions, you're asking yourself, is he being a little harsh towards Joseph? And that's part of the reason why this movie is so great. I will say though that if you're going into this expecting a gore fest, something packed with violence and blood and spills and thrills, this movie will disappoint you. It is not like that at all. This is for fans of psychological horror films and more thoughtful character studies and dramatic indie pieces.
The reason I've hired you is because I have terminal brain cancer, and I want you to film me to make a video diary for my unborn son.
You ready for this?
Okay.
The thing I love about the found footage genre as a whole, not just the horror movies, is that they are filmed in such a way that makes them seem more realistic, and the dynamic here between the two characters, and there's only really two characters throughout the film, it just comes across as so real, and I really believe that that dynamic helps to draw you into the film as well. The found footage genre of movie is so great because it has that sense of realism here, and in a movie like this with minimal doctoring, minimal studio interference, it just comes across as so real, like this could have actually happened and you would find it believable. It's one of the most realistic horror movies I've ever seen, and I really implore you guys to watch this film and share your opinions down below. I loved every second of it. It didn't do what I expected it to do. It has some decent jump scares here, and I'm typically anti-jump scare because I think they're a cheap way to elicit a response from the audience, but they're very few in this film, but they're well paced, well executed, and I think they actually add to the film. The one near the tail end of the film, and you'll know when you get to it after it's happened, it really got me because I just wasn't expecting it at all, and I can usually nail every single jump scare. I'm so good at predicting them, but here I was sorely mistaken, did not expect this one to come. But just keep that in mind if you're somebody that really hates jump scares. There's only a few of them here, but they're pretty effective, even for somebody that's really good at predicting. I still got a couple of times. Anyways, I can't talk about the movie too much without spoiling things. You really have to go in and see this one fresh. And once you do, let me know what you think in the comments below. I genuinely can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this one. So, in conclusion, I loved Creep. It's simply one of the best found footage films I've seen pretty much in my entire life. It may even be my favorite found footage film. Despite the fact that it doesn't have a lot of violence, doesn't have a lot of gore or anything like that, it's the performances, it's just the dynamic of the characters, and the overall vibe of the movie, that creepy, unsettling vibe. Is something gonna happen? Is nothing gonna happen? The entire movie is just a character study, and it deals with themes of friendship, loneliness, rejection, and perhaps it's going to make you question how you relate to other people and how you develop friendships. All of that is explored in a unique way in this film. Anyways, my name is Marcel from Aussie Horror, and I'll catch you guys around.